Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Hoimontika Das, currently working as WBC's Executive Officer under the West Bengal government. Now, in my channel, I have continued the series of the Indian polity where I have covered till the chapter Union and its territory. In today's video, I will complete the part 2 of the Union and its territory where I will discuss the evolution of the Indian states and the Union territory and how it evolved after the time of the independence. Now, you can watch this series as the complete revision module using the M. Lakshmikant book, which is very essential to be read by each and every aspirant. I suppose that to understand the subject Indian polity and the development of the Indian constitution. Now, before starting today's class, I want to just recall the previous class synopsis, like what we have understood from the previous class, that part 1 of the Indian constitution. What is present in the part 1 of the Indian constitution? It comprises of 4 articles. Article 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Article 1 says about the nature of the Indian state, that means union of state. Article 2 and 3 give Parliament some rights regarding the incorporation of certain territories into the Indian state and also regarding the alteration, changing name with respect to the states as well as the union territories present in India. And Article 4 says that to bring any kind of changes through Article 2 and Article 3, ordinary legislative procedure in the Parliament is needed. So with this, let's start today's class and finish the chapter Union and its territory. So now, this is the portion where the evolution of the states and the union territory has been discussed. First of all, now see, integration of the princely state. We all know that at the time of the independence, that means in the year of 1947, correct? Entire Indian territory can be divided into 2 portions or can be divided into 2 political units. First political unit is that they are British provinces, right? That means those areas that were governed by the British government at that time. And some princely states were also there, where there were some native rulers and who were supposed to be the under the paramountcy of the British crown. Now, Indian Independent Act passed at the time of the Mountbatten, and the separation of the entire Indian territory into India and the Pakistan was done. Now, princely states were given 3 options. First of all, they could join India, they could join Pakistan, or they had the option to remain independent. Okay. So during the time of the partition, out of the 552 princely states, that means during that time of the partition, if we consider the entire geographical boundary of the undivided India, at that time there was the number 552 princely state. Now, in the case of the India, now 549 joined India, but the 3 princely states started demanding to remain independent. What were the name of those 3 independent princely states? Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir. They refused to join India, but in order to bring the integrity and unity in the entire Indian nation, some leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, they suggested the incorporation and they persuaded that princely state to join India. But later on, by using 3 different means, these 3 independent princely states were compelled to join India. What are the 3 different means? Hyderabad by means of police action, Junagadh by means of referendum, and the Kashmir, that means Jammu Kashmir, by signing the instrument of accession, they joined the Indian nation. Okay. Now In 1950, the constitution contained a fourfold classification of the states and union territory, part 1 or part A, B, C and D. I think, or in my opinion, I don't think that the entire classification is needed to be remembered for the examination perspective, so we can leave this thing. Now, some of the important commission in the development of the Indian states and union territory in shaping the backbone of framing or distributing the state boundaries. Like first commission is the Dhar Commission and the JVP Commission. Now, the integration of the princely state with the rest of India has purely an ad hoc agreement. Okay, but there has been a demand from different regions, particularly in the South India, for reorganization of states on the linguistic basis. আমরা সবাই জানি আমাদের ভারত হচ্ছে ডাইভার্স in the form of religion, in the form of language, in the form of caste, creed, etc. But mainly আমাদের South India যে people, তাদের যে ভাষা, that is completely different from the people living in the North India. So, demands were raising that on the basis of the language, state reorganization should be done. Accordingly, the government established a particular commission in the year of 1948. The name of that particular commission was Linguistic Provinces Commission, and the chairman of that particular commission was S.K. Dhar. What were the particular subject matter with respect to the establishment of the commission? The matter is to examine the feasibility of choosing the language as the basis for reorganization of the state. Now, the commission submitted its report in the later stage of the year 1948 in the December month and recommended the reorganization of the state on the basis of administrative convenience, not on the basis of the linguistic factor. That means this commission discarded the linguistic factor to be the basis of the reorganization of state. Rather, it focused on the administrative convenience later on. But people created much resentment, people agitated and forced the government to create another committee, Linguistic Provinces Committee, by the year of 1948. And here, the three leaders headed that particular committee: Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattavi Sitaramaiah. And commonly, this committee was known as JVP Committee. It also rejected the language as the basis for the reorganization of state and submitted its report in the year of April 1949. Now, this table, no need to remember at all, we can skip the portion. Moving ahead, this is also not required. Now, these portions you can use it as very, very important, mark it in your book. What happened in the year of 1953? Before 1953, we have seen that two commissions had been established by the government in order to see the feasibility to use the language as the basis of creation of the state, but they discarded the idea of the linguistic basis. In the year of 1953, what happened is that government of India was forced to create the first linguistic state. That means the state which is created on the basis of the language, and the name of that particular state was Andhra State. It was created by separating the Telugu speaking community from the Madras state. And what was the triggering moment? The triggering moment was a political agitation and the death of a famous leader, Patri Siramalu, after the 56-day long hunger strike he did as a form of the protest. So, still after getting the recommendation from the two committees that language cannot be considered as the basis, but because of the political agitation, because of the death of one of the most prominent leader from the southern India, So government was forced to create the first linguistic state, Andhra state. Now, Fazal Ali Commission. After the creation of the Andhra state. On which basis? On the basis of the language. Another states started put forwarding their demand that our state also be created, our state should also be created on the basis of the language. So this again forced the government of India to appoint another commission in the year 1953 in the month of December. That means after October, just 1.5 months later, in the month of December, government created another commission known as State Reorganization Commission under the chairmanship of Fazal Ali, and to re-examine the whole question or the whole issue. You should also remember the another two members of the State Reorganization Commissions. They were K.M. Panikkar and H.N. Hunzru. And they submitted the report in September 1955. What were the key features of the Fazal Ali Commission's report? For the first time, this was the commission that accepted the language as the basis of the reorganization of the state. But they stated that language wouldn't be considered as one of the sole bases to form the state. That means it rejected the theory of one language, one state. But they stated that the primary consideration for creating the state should be such that they will fulfill the following criteria, like the preservation and strengthening of the unity and the security of the country. So these should be given the first priority. Second priority will be linguistic and the cultural homogeneity, but not one language, one state concept. Financial, economic and administrative considerations should also be taken care of for the formation of the states, and also planning, promotion of the welfare of the people in each state as well as the nation as a whole. So these are the broader ideas given by the Fazal Ali Commission to consider before forming states and union territory. Now, till 1956, India had at that time 14 states and 6 union territories that were created by passing the State Reorganization Act 1956 and enactment of 7th Constitutional Amendment Act. So, these Amendment Act and the State Reorganization Act was crucial to give India 14 states and 6 union territory, which were created on November 1, 1956. Hope till this everything is clear to you. Moving ahead, new states and union territory created after 1956. So, till 1956, 14 states and 6 union territories were already created after that. Now, Maharashtra and the Gujarat in 1960. See, what happened in 1960? Bilingual state of Bombay. So, in Bombay, people were mostly belongs to two different language. One is Maratha and is Gujarati. Now, Bombay bifurcated in the year of 1960, and two separate states were created. One is Maharashtra for the Maratha speaking community, another is the Gujarat for the Gujarati speaking community. And Gujarat was established as the 15th state in the Indian Union. Next, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. These area were ruled by the Portuguese. Portuguese ruled this territory until its liberation in 1954. Subsequently, till 1961, this area was administered by an administrator chosen by the people themselves. But after 1961, government enacted 10th Constitutional Amendment Act and made this area as a union territory of India. Next, Goa, Daman and Diu. Goa, Daman and Diu, it was also a Portuguese colony, and for creating it as a union territory, 12th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed in the year of 1962, and consequently Daman Diu was made a separate union territory after 1987. So, in the year of 1961, combinedly Goa, Daman and Diu, this combination was created as a one single union territory. But in 1987, Goa was given statehood. Okay, and Daman and Diu, this area remained as a single unit of union territory. Okay, now for Puducherry, Puducherry was also a colony of the French, and French ruled here till the year of 1954, and in 1962 14th Constitutional Amendment Act passed and Puducherry was made a union territory. Next, Nagaland. Nagaland was given the statehood in the year of 1963. This is important. And how it was created? By taking away some parts like Naga Hills, Tiwensang area from the state of Assam, Nagaland was created. Now, moving to the next states like Haryana, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh. So, the entire territorial boundary of the Punjab was bifurcated in the year of 1966. It was bifurcated in order to create Haryana, the 17th state of Indian territory, and another union territory, that means UT, was created, that was Chandigarh. That means in 1966, Punjab was bifurcated and the creation of Haryana as a state and Chandigarh as an union territory was happened. Actually, beside or behind the creation or bifurcation of the Punjab state, there was a massive movement led by Akali Dal, headed by Master Tara Singh, and that triggered the bifurcation of the state of Punjab. And on the recommendation of the Shah Commission in the year of 1966, Punjab speaking areas were constituted into unilingual state of Punjab and the Hindi speaking areas were constituted into the state of Haryana. Okay, and some hilly areas of both the Punjab and Haryana were taken away and merged and creating the union territory of Himachal Pradesh happened. Now, in the year of 1971, what happened is that this union territory of Himachal Pradesh was further elevated to the status of state, a full-fledged state, and 18th state of Indian Union. Hope it is clear. Now, Manipur, Tripura and the Meghalaya. Another important political change happened in the year of 1972. Now, political map of the Northeast India underwent a major change. Two separate union territory. Previously, Manipur and Tripura were acting as a union territory, and some sub-states of the Meghalaya got the statehood, and two union territories of Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh came into being. So, in 1972, what happened in the Northeast India is that two union territory, Manipur, okay, and Tripura, they were changed into the status of union territory to statehood. Okay. Now, two union territory like Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, combinedly known as Northeast Frontier Agency, was created. Okay. So, the union territory of Northeast Frontier Agency was created, and Manipur and Tripura were elevated from the status of union territory to statehood status. Now, 22nd Constitutional Amendment Act created Meghalaya as an autonomous state within the state of Assam. So, from this is the only important factors or the facts you should remember. and the rest of the thing you can ignore. Now, the very important thing is the case of statehood given to the area of the Sikkim. Now, till the time of independence 1947, Sikkim was purely a princely state ruled by Chogyal dynasty. But after independence, that means after the lapse of British paramountcy, Sikkim became a protectorate of India. That means where Indian government assumed the responsibility for with respect to Sikkim only in the domain of defense, external affairs and communication. Later, Sikkim expressed their desire to be associated with India. So, after independence 1947, Sikkim was administered by the Indian government but only in the domain of defense, external affairs and the communication. Later, in the year of 1974, Sikkim expressed their concern or their desire to be associated with India, and subsequently, Indian Parliament enacted 35th Constitutional Amendment Act in the year of 1974. And with this amendment, a new class of statehood under constitution was created and Sikkim was conferred the status of associate state. So far, there was no associate state with respect to Indian Union, and Sikkim was given the first status of an associate state. And for this purpose, Indian Parliament added a new article in the form of Article 2A and added a new schedule, 10th schedule in the Indian Constitution. But later, in a referendum held in 1975, the people of India voted for the abolition of such status like associate status, and they demanded for the abolition of the entire abolition of the institution of the princely state and the institution of the Chogyal dynasty, and Sikkim wanted to become the integral part of India. And with this, consequently, Indian government again passed another amendment act, that means 36th Constitutional Amendment Act in the year of 1975, that Sikkim the designation of a full-fledged state, and it was created as the 22nd state of India. With this amendment, this ended the Article 2A added in the previous amendment and also abolished the 10th schedule of the Indian Constitution. But it also brought some changes in the first and the fourth schedule in the Constitution and added a new Article 371F, important 371F, with respect to the administration special provision for Sikkim. So, what are the important facts? 35th Constitutional Amendment, Article 2A added to give the status associate state for Sikkim. Now, after that, 36th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975 gave Sikkim a full-fledged state. Okay? তোমরা আশা করি সবটা বুঝতে পেরেছো। And the last thing, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa. In the year of 1987, 3 new states like Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa came into being as the 23rd, 24th and 25th state of Indian Union. And Arunachal Pradesh had also been a union territory from 1972. The state of Goa was created by separating the territory of Goa from the union territory of Goa, Daman and Diu. Okay? Now, in 2000 সালে কি করা হয়? Another 3 new states were created. The states of Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand, they were created out of the territory of Madhya Pradesh. Chhattisgarh was created by cutting out some parts of Madhya Pradesh. For Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh was bifurcated, and for Jharkhand, some areas from the Bihar was captured. Now, the last state, Telangana. In 2014, new state of Telangana came into being as the 29th state of Indian Union, and it was carved out of the territory of the Andhra Pradesh. So, I think এত পর্যন্ত ক্লিয়ার হলো। নেক্সট জম্মু কাশ্মীর অ্যান্ড লাদাখ 2019-এ আমরা জানি আর্স্টওয়াইল যে স্টেট অফ জম্মু কাশ্মীর ওয়াজ বাইফার্কেটেড। কিভাবে বাইফার্কেট করা হলো, সেখানের যে স্পেশাল স্টেটাস the state of Jammu Kashmir had been enjoying till the year of special status যেটা 370 আর্টিকেলের দ্বারা কনভার্ট করা হয়েছিল সেটাকে কিন্তু অ্যাবলিশ করা হয় এবং স্পেশাল স্টেটাসটাকে কিন্তু বাই দ্য প্রেসিডেন্সিয়াল অর্ডার, সেই অর্ডারটার নাম কি ছিল, দ্য কনস্টিটিউশন অ্যাপ্লিকেশন টু জম্মু অ্যান্ড কাশ্মীর অর্ডার 2019, এটাকে পাস করানো হয় এবং এটার মাধ্যমে কিন্তু আর্লিয়ার যে স্টেটাস অফ দ্য জম্মু কাশ্মীর ওয়াজ টেকেন অ্যাওয়ে। 2019 order extended all the provisions of the Constitution of India to Jammu Kashmir also. However, inoperative Article 370 continue to remain in the text of the Constitution of India. এবং further, by passing the Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019, the bifurcation happened. And how it has taken place by creating two separate union territories. One was Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir, another was the Union Territory of Ladakh. এবং দেখা যাচ্ছে যে the number of the states and union territory increased from 14 and 6 that were present in the time of 1956 to 28 and 9 in 2019 respectively. As of now, in India we have 28 states and 9 union territories. সো এইটা ছিল মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট একটা জায়গা। লাস্ট, চেঞ্জেস অফ দ্য নেম। কে করতে পারে চেঞ্জেস অফ দ্য নেম? পার্লামেন্ট ক্যান ব্রিং অর অল্টার দ্য নেম অফ এ স্টেট আন্ডার হুইচ আর্টিকেল? আন্ডার আর্টিকেল 3। তো এই প্রভিশনকে ইউজ করে এখনো পর্যন্ত অনেকগুলো স্টেটের নাম চেঞ্জ করা হয়েছে। যেরকম ইউনাইটেড প্রভিন্স নামটা ছিল, সেই নামটাকে চেঞ্জ করা হয়েছে। এখন উত্তরপ্রদেশ যার নাম, সেটাই আগে ছিল ইউনাইটেড প্রভিন্স। মাদ্রাস থেকে পরবর্তীকালে ইন দ্য ইয়ার অফ 1969 মাদ্রাস স্টেট ওয়াজ রিনেমড অ্যাজ তামিলনাড়ু। সিমিলারলি in 1973 Mysore was renamed as Karnataka. In the same year, Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindip Islands were renamed as Lakshadweep. So the erstwhile name of Lakshadweep was Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindip. Union Territory of Delhi was redesignated as the National Capital Territory of Delhi. So the name changed to National Capital Territory of Delhi by 69th Constitutional Amendment Act 1991. In 2006, Uttaranchal was given another name, that is Uttarakhand, and Pondicherry in the same year was renamed as Puducherry, and in 2011, lastly, Odisha was renamed as Odisha. So, I think এটা সবটা তোমাদের ক্লিয়ার হলো। Here is the list of 28 states and union territories that are present at the time in the Indian territory. I think পুরো জায়গাটা ক্লিয়ার হলো তোমাদেরকে। তো এইভাবে আজকের আমরা চ্যাপ্টারটাকে এন্ড করলাম। ইউনিয়ন অ্যান্ড ইটস টেরিটরি, এই পার্ট 1 of the constitution is completed with this video series, part 1 and part 2. Hopefully you have able to learn something new, you have able to clear some concepts from my video, from my detailed analysis of the Indian polity book Lakshmikant. তো কেমন লাগছে প্লিজ আমাকে জানিও। সো যারা কনসিস্টেন্টলি এই সিরিজটাকে দেখবে, আই থিঙ্ক তারা উপকৃত। তোমাদের ভালো লাগলে এই ভিডিওটাকে লাইক করো, শেয়ার করো, সাবস্ক্রাইব করো টু মাই চ্যানেল ইফ ইউ আর নিউ টু মাই চ্যানেল। জয়েন মাই টেলিগ্রাম and the link of this telegram id can be you can get this link from my description box as well as from my comment box. এবং dedicated mentorship for any kind of competitive preparation যেখানে general studies, science, maths এগুলো থাকে, you can contact me through my mail id. তোমরা অন্য কোনো বিষয়ে কোনো কিছু জানতে চাইলে, তোমাদের কোনো যদি ডাউট ক্লারিফিকেশন লাগে, তোমরা অবশ্যই আমাকে মেল করো। তো আজকের ভিডিওটা এইটুকখানি। নেক্সট ভিডিওতে আমরা পলিটির নেক্সট চ্যাপ্টার, দ্যাট মিনস দ্য পার্ট 2 অফ দ্য কনস্টিটিউশন, উইচ ইজ বলো কি সিটিজেনশিপ, সেটাকে আমরা পড়বো এবং ডিসকাস করব। তাহলে আজকের মতো এইটুকখানি, আজকের ভিডিওটা এখানেই শেষ করলাম। ভালো থেকো, সুস্থ থেকো এবং পড়াশোনাকে কন্টিনিউ করো এবং তোমাদের সফলতা অবশ্যই